Hey Chris, we're here with Chris Sky, and he's been doing amazing activism, raising awareness. You may not agree with everything he says, but he definitely stands for freedom, so that's a good thing. So we're going to learn a bit more about what's happening to him personally, the persecution, which we're concerned about at NCA. Then we're going to dive into the bigger picture of why all this stuff is going on. And I think Chris would agree with me. It's even though it's been over the last couple of years, it's been going on for decades incrementally.
Yep.
But here's Chris here. Chris, yeah, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, brother.
I've heard stuff about you. They've been going after you. Could you just give us some meat to that?
I've been arrested 20 times in the last 24 months. I've gotten off quite a few of the charges. I still got a lot of the charges pending. I have charges from 7 different agencies across Canada. Most recently, I was arrested in Calgary for breaching the court injunction of allegedly speaking a few words through a megaphone. And in Canada in 2022, under that court injunction to ban the protesting, that me having a megaphone and saying, "Hi, my name is Chris," through a megaphone is enough for them to arrest me and process me into prison. And then because I am an activist, because I don't take the test and I don't have the jab, they use that as an excuse to isolate me. So when I go to prison, they end up keeping me away from everybody, locking me up in my own cell alone, and then using the excuse of me not being able to be out when everyone else is out as a way to constantly have to wait for my own exercise time, which then never comes. So I spent 3 days in Calgary prison. I didn't have access to the shower, didn't have access to the gym, didn't have access to watch TV or the movies. In the 3 days, I got let out of my cell, while the other inmates are allowed out twice a day for an hour and 15 minutes to do whatever basically they want. I was in my cell 24 hours a day, only let out for maybe 5 minutes at a time just to make a phone call. And that's all I got. They even disabled the hot water in my cell, so I wasn't able to wash up in my cell. I wasn't able to even make coffee in my cell. And they do similar things to Pastor Art. Pat King is still in jail from the trucker convoy. They took his fake leg, so he's on one leg in jail. They denied him bail. They even still have his bank accounts frozen, so he can't even access his money to try to pay for a lawyer. My lawyer fees are in tens of thousands of dollars yearly. By the end of this year, it's going to be over $100,000 I have to spend in the last 2 years just on lawyers alone. And we've been traveling around, and the scary thing is a lot of people are acting like it's all over because they got to take the mask off momentarily, and now they can go to a restaurant or they can go to the gym without a vaccine passport. Ladies and gentlemen, we're the only freaking country in the world where we can't even leave if we're not vaccinated. Millions of people got fired from their job because they refused that medical procedure, which should always be an option. And they still have those mandates in place. And everyone's asking us why we're still fighting. It's because the mandates are still there. They haven't gone anywhere. They just let you have a little semblance of freedom for now. In the fall, with monkeypox, with the new vaccination campaign, with all the other stuff that's going to come back, they're going to bring back every restriction. It's going to start with social distancing, and they're going to bring the masks, and they're going to start these vaccine campaigns, and they're going to bring back the vaccine passports, and they're going to try to make it all permanent, and they're going to try to tie it in with the digital ID. The digital ID is not some conspiracy theory either, ladies and gentlemen. It's already live in Canada. Interac is using it. Your bank is using it. The government of Canada partnered with KLM Airlines, Air Canada, and the WEF to start using the digital ID to travel between Toronto and Amsterdam Airport. And part of your digital ID is now going to be your fingerprints, like we're all criminals, and our facial recognition. So that's what they want. And they don't just want it for travel. They don't just want it for work. They're discussing at the World Economic Forum and the WHO right now, as we're speaking, to try to make the passport system even apply to the internet. So if you are not vaccinated, if you do not go along with their plan, you will not be able to access online. That's what they want, because they know that all the people that won't take the jab will go online and talk bad about the jab. So they just want you not to be able to talk. They want to stop people from me speaking out like this. Last weekend I was in Edmonton. The police tried to kidnap me. And I say kidnap because they had no warrant to arrest me. But they came at me with 8 cops on bikes when they saw that I was far enough away from the crowd that no one could see. And they literally said, "Come here, Chris." I said, "Why? Do I have a warrant?" And they didn't answer me. So I said, "Well, I'm not coming there then." And I turned and I started running back towards the crowd. And they came at me with their bikes, and the first guy to get me literally tried to run me over with the bike, knock me down so they could grab me. And he didn't knock me over, but he tried to grab me. I had to literally shrug these guys off of me, common street thugs and dodge bicycles like I was in American Gladiators to get back to the crowd. Even then, they wanted to try to arrest me. It took the entire crowd to come together and surround me after I was finished speaking and literally escort me off the premises. Then the cops followed us with cars and bikes, thinking that they were just going to stalemate us until they could get me. For God knows what, I still don't know. And then I ended up changing clothes with someone in the crowd, and we jumped into a car with my wife, and we just left. And obviously, they couldn't do anything. Obviously, I didn't have a warrant because I'm still here now. And it's just never-ending persecution. And if you think it's okay because they're just doing it to me, because you don't agree with me and you want to wear a mask and you want to be trapped, they're going to do it to you too. They just arrested Karima. Karima is the most far left you can get. She's the queen of Antifa. She's the one that was calling the cops. Every single time I would go into a restaurant, she'd know that I didn't have a vaccine passport, so she knew the restaurant was just allowing me to eat there. So she would call the cops on any restaurant that simply allowed me to eat there. And now she finally got herself arrested. I wonder if she's going to be calling the cops on anybody anymore. Or I wonder if she finally realized that the government isn't her friend either. The government doesn't care about any of us, especially the ones that comply. The government thinks even less of you. At least they have a little bit of respect for me because I'm smart enough and strong enough not to eat every pile of shit that they give to me. All the idiots that go along with everything they say, you know what they're calling you right now at the World Economic Forum? They're calling you the useless class. Literally, the useless class. Because AI is going to take away all the jobs. Robots are going to take away all the manual labor jobs. So the vast majority of people now on this planet are what they call the useless class. And now you see why you're being injected with poisons to kill you. Now you see why they're trying to take your businesses. Now you see why they're taking your freedoms and locking you down. They're setting the stage to cull the herd. They don't need you. All the cities are already built. All the infrastructure is already there. All you are doing now to them is taking up space and taking up their resources and causing traffic on their roads, and your numbers are a direct threat to their rule and control. So they plan on subjugating you, controlling you, and killing you off. Now, you can think I'm wrong. I've been right about everything the last 2 years. You can keep complying, and that's going to get you even worse. In the fall, when the restrictions come back, you're not going to be able to say I'm wrong because you're going to be going through the same cycle for the third year in a row. And at that point, if you haven't figured out that this is all part of a plan, you deserve everything that's happened to you. I'm sorry.
It'll probably coincide with the end of the Ukraine proxy war, right?
That's not even. They're not
They'll
going to let
probably
that
pivot.
war stop. They're not going to let that
Oh,
war
you think
stop.
it'll perpetuate?
Yep, because they just gave them $40 billion to Ukraine.
They did, but not.
They did it because they want it to keep
Yeah,
going, so they
we'll
can
see.
still. They need an excuse
Yeah.
for why the food prices are
Yeah.
up, for this and this and this. So they're going to use Ukraine as the catch-all for everything.
Yeah.
In reality, they're doing it all on purpose. They set the price of gas. They set the price of food. They want to give you as much pain and suffering as possible because their original plan failed. Their original plan was all of us to be boosted by now, at least 70% of the world. And then it would have been mandated everywhere. Vaccine passports would have been mandated everywhere, but they didn't get anywhere close to that. So what they're doing now in geopolitics is called a table flip. They lost the game, but instead of just walking away, they just go boom and knock everything over. Cause as much chaos and disruption in your life as possible to punish you for fighting back and to also get you upset. Because now they want us to feel hopeless. They want you to feel despair. They want you to get to that point where they can manipulate you to do something stupid like armed insurrection so they can destroy this whole movement all at once, demonize and arrest people like me as violent insurrectionists, and finally get us under their thumb. That's their goal. Anyway, brother, I got.
Oh yeah, could I just ask you the no-fly list?
Technically, I'm not on any no-fly list, but the RCMP worked with Canadian Airlines to not allow me to fly. So you figure that out. I'm not on the official no-fly list, but I'm on a special police-enforced only Canadian.
So you can't fly.
If I fly in a non-Canadian airline, I could, except I'm not jabbed. So they won't
I
let me
see.
leave.
Okay, I got you.
But I'm going to let this out there. There are certain airlines at certain airports that are flying people without jabs out of the country.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
Love you,
Awesome job. Thanks, buddy. Thank you, man.
Cheers.
There you have it from Chris. A lot of truth there, and just think about what he's saying, and it's pretty scary what's going on, everyone. So I'm not going to touch on any more today, but it is what it is. All the stuff he's been saying, we've been warning about. So pretty scary world we live in. Canadians, you got to wake up big time. This is real stuff going on. and it's going to impact you and your family. Good to see you, Sergey. And check the interview we did with the Russian guy earlier. It doesn't get much more real than that, but that'll give you at least a taste of reality. I want to wish everyone the best.